When the dinosaurs became extinct, our planet had already undergone 4 mass extinctions. One of them wiped out 96% of all life on Earth, and this is it. This is part 3 of the 5 extinctions on Earth. This is known as the Great Dying. It occurred about 251 million years ago, before the first dinosaurs appeared. At that time, there was a supercontinent called Pangaea. It was a single landmass surrounded by a vast ocean called Panthalassa. Our planet was emerging from a period called the Carboniferous, which was an era full of giant forests with enormous amphibians and gigantic insects, and was entering the Permian, the era of the first primitive mammals, which were the therapsids and gorgonopsids. This world began to die slowly, long before the extinction itself. The planet's climate was extreme, with temperatures at the equator reaching around 74 degrees Celsius, which is enough to cook a chicken. Many regions of the planet were arid, with no rain, and there were very few habitable areas. Staying alive was already difficult before everything got out of control. In what is now Siberia, a series of volcanic eruptions began like never before. These eruptions did not last a year, 10 years, no, 200,000 years in a row. This is known today as the Siberian Traps, and you can go visit them. These were not violent explosions like you might imagine from the 2012 movie, but rather endless rivers of magma, flowing at 1,200 degrees Celsius. If these volcanoes were located where the United States is today, they would have covered the entire country in a layer of lava 3 kilometers thick. This wiped out many species in the area, but not all life on Earth. What was deadly was that along with the magma came carbon dioxide, ash, sulfur, and chlorine. In total, more than 200 billion tons of these materials were released, which would be more than 1,000 times the weight of Mount Everest. All these gases turned the atmosphere into a heat trap. This extreme heat dried up rivers, set forests on fire, and turned the Earth into almost a desert. The lack of rain and excess CO2 caused global aridification. Atmospheric oxygen fell from 30%, which is a lot, to 15%. Today we have about 21%. A drop to 19.5% would already be dangerous for humans. Breathing was almost impossible. The gases released destroyed our ozone layer, increasing ultraviolet radiation by 400% in the tropics and up to 5,000% at the poles. Being outdoors for a single day would be equivalent to spending 4 days in a tanning bed. This radiation burned plants, raised spores, and destroyed vegetation. Acid rain and dust prevented photosynthesis for the few plants that could survive. Marine life suffered even more, as the oceans heated up so much that they were like a 45-degree hot tub. Their acidity increased by 32%, killing corals, mollusks, and fish. Even the oxygen in the water disappeared in many areas, creating dead seas. Some scientists believe that the extreme heat generated hyperhurricanes, which would be cyclones with speeds of 800 km/h and as large as half the United States. The result of this was the worst biological disaster on the planet. In total, 96% of Earth's species disappeared. This, along with 57% of biological families. To give you some context, only 17% were lost in the extinction of the dinosaurs. Gorgonopsids, Meganosoptera, and many sauromorphs disappeared from our planet. In the water, sea scorpions, spiny sharks, and the legendary trilobites that had survived 2 previous extinctions over 150 million years became extinct. Of all the animals on the planet, one was the great survivor, the Lystrosaurus, which was a reptile with mammalian traits that could burrow and perhaps hibernate. After these extinctions, the world was empty, and dinosaurs came to represent 95% of all terrestrial vertebrates. It took our planet about 50 million years to recover. During this time, Earth was a silent desert without dominant predators, something never seen before. From this void, a new era would be born, an incredible one. When the climate finally stabilized, the Triassic began, and with it the evolution of the first dinosaurs, which suffered 2 extinctions, not just that caused by meteorites. Don't miss the next video.